Silence of the Lambs is a 1991 crime and drama film. Within the film are various psychological concepts such as antisocial personality disorder and PTSD. The film is about FBI agent Clarice Starling and her interviews with Dr. Hannibal Lecter to help her catch and detain a man known as Buffalo Bill, a serial killer who kills and skins his female victims, stuffs moth cocoons in their mouths, and dumps their bodies in rivers. Normal, right? The characters in this film clearly have some sort of disorder, so let's get to the bottom of it. To start off, Hannibal Lecter appears to be a refined, polite man who is equipped with a silver tongue that allows him to manipulate people. Before his imprisonment, he lived as a psychiatrist and worked alongside a variety of patients, including Buffalo Bill. However, due to his abnormal behavior and diet, he gained a taste for a more delicate prey and was incarcerated. Hannibal's actions and lifestyle allow a clear diagnosis of antisocial personality disorder. Symptoms of this disorder consist of the failure to conform to social norms, consistent showings of no regard for right and wrong, ignoring rights and feelings of others, and tendency to antagonize or manipulate others harshly with no guilt or remorse for their behavior. Statistically, people who are diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder inevitably succumb to a life of crime because of their tendency to lie and violate the law. It is obvious Hannibal is not the average Joe that conforms to social norms because he was convicted of both murder and cannibalism. Another feat for Hannibal is his mastery of manipulation. He can manipulate people through his power of mere words. For example, he persuaded a neighboring inmate to bite off and swallow his own tongue just because he had earlier harassed Clarice. This shows how much being polite weighs in for Hannibal and shows us how his mind works. He will not tolerate rudeness to himself nor anyone he thinks highly of, and punishes those who push the boundaries at any level with no remorse. Hannibal also shows no guilt for his past actions and sometimes uses his killings as fear tactics or holds them in high regards. The thought of killing another human doesn't even seem to bother Hannibal at all. This is shown when a guard was handing him a meal. He broke out of his handcuffs and proceeded to maul the guard. Then proceeded to handcuff the other guard to the cell bars and continued to bludgeon him even after death. Carved off his face and wore it as his own to appear as the victim. Then, while being tended to in the ambulance, he ripped off the face mask, killed the staff, and escaped. One should not take anything Hannibal says at face value. He was a sociopath who only cared for his own life. Finally, we have Clarice Starling. Clarice seems perfectly normal, but she suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is a mental health condition that is triggered by terrifying events and can cause uncontrollable thoughts, nightmares, severe anxiety, and flashbacks. Clarice is an FBI agent in training and is willing to do whatever it takes to catch Buffalo Bill. However, to do this, she must reveal her life in a quid pro quo exchange with Dr. Lecter to gather more information. Throughout the film, she appears to be a vigorous spirit with a can-do attitude. However, her perfectionist-esque attitude derives from her early childhood experiences. When her father died, she was sent off to live with her uncle on his ranch. One morning, while she was still asleep, she heard a chilling noise that woke her up and caused her to get up and find the source. The noise came from behind the barn doors where she heard the cry of lambs being slaughtered. As a child, she couldn't bear to see or hear any more crying, so she picked up one of the lambs and ran with it. But it was too heavy, and her uncle caught up with her and punished her. Starling tells Dr. Lecter that she can still hear the cries of lambs being slaughtered, and if she could save Catherine from Buffalo Bill, she could finally hear the lambs be silent. Just one person needs to be saved in Clarice's eyes, and the lambs will be still, as well as her anxiety. Every time an event causes Clarice to become fearful, she can hear the lambs scream in her head. She just wants to rescue those in need, but feels like it will end up like before, with the burden being too heavy, and ultimately, her failing. The film Silence of the Lambs depicts antisocial personality disorder in a very extreme manner, yet in good exaggerations, through the character of Hannibal Lecter. However, the way they represent PTSD, I would say, is more accurate to its realistic basis in the way it is described through Clarice Starling. Overall, I would say the way this film depicts the two concepts is more factual than fiction.